Well, tonight we're bringing you the very latest in our exclusive four-part series, Burning Coal Country.
We've shown you a fire burning underground in Schuylkill County, given you the state DEP's response, and talked with people who could one day be affected.
Now, 69 News reporter Rob Manch is taking a look at what can be done about it. He is live for us tonight in Shenandoah, and Rob, tonight's story focuses on that borough.
Yeah, that's right, Wendy. This is a town that is no stranger to mine fires. So I'm standing right now at the Pennsylvania Anthracite Miners Memorial. And in 1970, not far from where I'm standing, the Keeley Run mine fire was burning out of control, just like Centralia did back in 1962. I talked with Historical Society Director Andy Ulicny about what it took to put it out.
Shenandoah itself is pretty much the heart of the coal region.
Andy Ulicny preserves that legacy in the borough's Historical Society. It's filled with helmets, coal, and replicas of mining equipment.
We have a miner's helmet before electricity in the olden days.
But we learned if the Girardville fire ever did threaten Shenandoah, it wouldn't be the borough's first time. It's an experience Andy Ulicny lived firsthand.
All of a sudden, you're finding out over the years, vapors popping up surrounding the mine, vapors popping up surrounding the town. Sulphur is effusing and solidifying.
The mine fire Ulicny is talking about isn't in Centralia or even Girardville. It's the Keeley Run mine fire, right on the doorstep of Shenandoah Borough itself.
Over our Little League stadium, it was like a volcano. There was a crater you could drive trucks into. It was starting to burn under the north end of the town, and it would have continued. And this was a rather prosperous town of 15 to 20,000 people.
So in 1970, Pennsylvania made a decision. Unlike Centralia, it was going to save Shenandoah.
They moved a mountain, literally moved a mountain, and this was dug up over the course of 7 years, or the town would have been basically incinerated and falling into the ground.
An article published in the Evening Herald in 1977 quoted the figure at $12.9 million, which in today's dollars would be just under $100 million. Now, the Girardville mine fire is raging underground mere miles from the borough's borders. But if the state wanted to do something about it, there's no question the money is there.
The motion is adopted.
After the passage of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act in November of last year, the Pennsylvania DEP was granted $244 million a year for the next 15 years, specifically for abandoned mine reclamation. That's $3.6 billion in total. But Ulicny says they might not have to spend as much money digging up the fire like they did with Keeley Run.
But I'd like to think even if it is spreading, it might be spreading in tendrils that could be nipped off one by one. At least I would hope so before there'd ever be a problem to the town.
We asked geologist Frank Pizzaglia at Lehigh University about this, and he confirmed that is one way of extinguishing underground fires.
Part of the remediation effort is actually to drill holes and pump bentonite or other kinds of materials into the holes to artificially make these kinds of barriers.
But in order to pull off a project like that, the first step is figuring out how far the Girardville fire extends underground, something the DEP has admittedly not done yet. Victor Marini, who lives in Raven Run, the closest neighborhood to the fire, hopes the state takes action.
I think there needs to be survey work done out there. It's neglect.
Like the Centralia fire, neglected 60 years ago, 6 miles away. Ulicny is afraid if nothing is done, his town could suffer the same fate.
I'd hate to say it, but with the current population of about 4,000, I think like Centralia, they'd buy people out.
grim prediction of what could happen if that fire ever reached Shenandoah Borough's borders. Now, you might remember earlier in this series, I talked about the company that first discovered the Girardville fire back in 2004, Blashot Coal. The company didn't initially respond to my questions, but after our first stories hit the air, I got a call from Chairman Greg Driscoll. Driscoll says mine fires and other environmental degradation like that are leftovers from a different era, and modern mining practices do a much better job of protecting the environment.
We put back the rock, we put back the earth, and we put all that back, and so we rebuild that from the bottom up, and we're recreating a pretty natural surface, if you will, after we leave. So without continued mining, we will lose that potential to have that reclamation done in a more cost-efficient and time-efficient way.
But Driscoll says as for the Girardville fire, the DEP is the only one that can do anything about it at this point through their Office of Abandoned Mine Reclamation. So that's where this story ends, with a to be continued. The Girardville fire is still burning just miles from this borough's borders, but we are going to continue to keep in contact with the DEP to see if they come up with a plan to finally do something about it. We're live in Shenandoah Borough tonight. Rob Manch, 69 News.